Do you have 10 kilometers to town? In reality, it's much closer, according to flat earthers. Taboo Conspiracy has published several videos with a man from Switzerland that claims he is a sailor. He has sailed around the world in big boat races, and he have claimed that the magnetic declination is used to manipulate the maps, and the same goes for time zones. This time he claims that the world is smaller than we see on the maps. The distances is closer. Let's start this dumpster fire.
Hello everyone. I have another great video from Hervé Raboni to share with you today. As Hervé has discussed in prior videos, as part of the Cabal's process to change our flat Earth reality into a globe, the controllers artificially enlarged the northern hemisphere and simultaneously shrunk the southern hemisphere. In other words, actual distances in the northern hemisphere are shorter than claimed by maps and the globe, while in the southern hemisphere, actual distances between points are further away in the east-west direction, but not in the north-south direction. The minutes of latitude are half than the official narrative on all of the flat Earth, which diminishes the circumference of the flat Earth. But this deception creates telltale signs of manipulation. For example, both false magnetic declination adjustments and time zones certainly hide these changes. I'll leave links in the description to Hervé's prior discussions on those topics if you haven't seen them. In addition to the time zones and magnetic declination deceptions, as will be discussed in this video, the Cabal artificially enlarged maps in the northern hemisphere to hide their subterfuge.
My brain hurts. This is so damn stupid. I have covered this nonsense about magnetic declination before, and the nonsense about time zones.
For example, as shown here by Hervé, if map scales were legitimate, a 100-kilometer road, although winding, would still match a 100-kilometer straight path, because the distances are the same. But it doesn't match. The winding 100-kilometer road is longer than the 100-kilometer straight line distance, and that doesn't make any sense on the globe.
So according to Taboo, a straight road is not shorter than a winding road. Oh dear, how stupid can he be?
But the manipulation is much greater than what he's showing right here, because the actual road winds and turns much more than is indicated on the map. In short, the scales on maps are entirely wrong. To be clear, the controllers are not faking driving distances. That would be impossible to fake actual driving distances. Instead, they are taking road maps and artificially stretching them. You still cover the same distances shown on the map and on the odometer, but the maps themselves have been stretched in the northern hemisphere. As will be shown in the video, an actual sinuous winding road is artificially stretched on Google Maps and GPS to make it look like a longer distance. For example, look at the road on the left. It's sinuous, but Google and GPS will then stretch the road to look something like the road on the right, which is fascinating. This then creates the illusion on the maps that the driving distances match nautical miles flying distances when those distances do not match. In the northern hemisphere, that means that airplanes and boats which use nautical miles are not traveling as far as they think they are because their speeds are wrong. Their official speeds work only on the fake enlarged globe map. In reality, they are traveling substantially slower on the small flat Earth.
It's several ways on ships and airplanes to determine the speed. This is obviously nothing Taboo knows anything about. A ship too big to go through the Panama Canal that goes from, for instance, Japan to the east coast of USA will pass Cape Horn. It will cross the equator and goes very far south. Wouldn't the crew on board notice this about the speeds? And if the distances was much longer on the southern hemisphere, airplanes traveling, for instance, from Australia to South Africa would have to break the sound barrier.
Hello, in this video we will demonstrate that the scale we use on road maps is completely wrong. For this research, we will study a route from Quebec to New Brunswick, but more precisely for the introduction between the St. John and Fredericton on Highway 7. We will see that the very winding road that we take by car covers the same distance as the direct road. The direct route is a marine term that you will hear in the video, which means a route as the crow flies. We will now see a very short version, the demonstration of the subterfuge of the distance on the road maps that we use, which will be followed in the video of the detailed explanation. So here we have on this trip the 100 kilometers by road well indicated on Google Maps. I can already confirm that the kilometers on the road are exact and that is indeed the scales which is wrong, as we will see later.
Now we are going to compare the distances on the road and the route as the crow flies. I will do it schematically. It will be done in a more precise way during the presentation, but so that we understand the system they use, the subterfuge. So I'm going to take a piece of card and we are going to try to follow the route schematically on the map. So we start at the starting point and we follow the road with the card. As I said, it will be more precise during the presentation, but we do it for the first time to understand the trick, to understand how does it work.
So it's about this length. I now place it on the route as the crow flies, and we can already see that the 100 kilometers by the road arrive further than the 100 kilometers as the crow flies.
I don't know about you, but I don't trust his drawings on the whiteboard. Let's measure the distance on Google Maps. So if you're going by road, the distance is 98.9 kilometers. Let's compare this with if we measure a straight line using Google Earth. And the result is 88.22 kilometers. So roughly the straight line is about 10% shorter.
And it is the opposite of a nautical chart. On a road map, you never have the latitude as reference. As you can see on this road map here, they will help you locate yourself with numbers and letters and a lexicon, but they will never tell you the longitude and the latitude. There is therefore no way to easily and precisely compare the distances of the road with the route of the plane or the boat.
If you're using Google Maps, for instance, right-click and you get the coordinates.
Knowing the way of operating of the manipulators, one could easily see here something very suspicious, but we will still be able to compare these distances. And so for this comparison we will use and observe a route that I have done a good 10 times already, which leaves from Boucherville in Quebec and which goes to Saint John in New Brunswick. It's a journey that is 881 kilometers. I projected the map on the whiteboard and I trace exactly the same route with the same scale. So we have a trip that is 881 kilometers from Boucherville at the intersection of the highways 20 and 30 in Quebec. So it's a very accurate point. And the trip arrives in Saint John in New Brunswick at the intersection of Highway 7 and 1.
And here I have the same route on Google Maps.
And now we are going to compare this route on a nautical chart.
Okay, I'm doing the same using the same tool as he.
We have here a nautical chart of the area and we have drawn a straight line from start to finish, like the path of an airplane, and as it is a nautical chart, the distances are referenced in latitude as we saw in the beginning. So for the distance as the crow flies, it corresponds to 305.12 nautical miles. Therefore, 305.12 nautical miles times 1.852, as we have seen to have the kilometers, equal 565 kilometers. Now, this path is a perfect right triangle with a right angle at its vertex. And moreover, the two dimensions are exactly the same distance. Here I have 82 centimeters and here the same thing, 82 centimeters. So if we look at the two cathetes, which are the two sides of a right angle triangle, we have a perfect right angle triangle. So as we know Pythagoras, another Freemason, we can apply his theorem.
Comme on connaît ça, Pythagore, un autre franc-maçon, on peut faire son
So
théorème.
we multiply by the square the distance of 565 kilometers, which equals 319,225. We divide it by 2. We calculate its square root and we obtain the distance in kilometers on each side of the right angle triangle. Here I have added the distance of the hypotenuse, 565 kilometers. So it is this line on the nautical chart, and the kilometers of the two sides of the right triangle are 399.5 kilometers. So let's say 400 kilometers. So these distances are the distances as the crow flies. So maybe you already see the problem we have. A road with all the bends, climbs, descents, and which sometimes deviates from the road as the crow fly by more than 100 degrees, cannot having only 6 kilometers more, and even on this side 75 kilometers is ridiculous.
I wonder why he didn't use the measuring tool on the chart on these two distances, because the distance he measured on the chart is what was correct, and the other two distances he calculated. So let's measure instead on the chart, which is according to him correct. Okay, here is the first leg. And here is the second leg. So both legs are roughly 209 nautical miles, which corresponds with 387 kilometers. Let's compare with his numbers. So the first leg was 385 kilometers if you measure a straight line, and in the car it was 21 kilometers longer. And the second leg also 385 kilometers, and in the car it was 90 kilometers longer. If you look at his sketch of the route, it makes sense. It's more curves in the first one, or in the second leg I meant. When you make a route on Google Maps, it suggests a shorter one, the gray one here, and it's 729 kilometers. And then we have 565 kilometers that he did measure on the chart, and it tells us that this route is 164 kilometers longer than a straight line. And then we compare with the route he used, 890 kilometers, and then we use 565 again. So this route is 325 kilometers longer than a straight line. But why is he measuring only on a chart? Let's use Google Earth instead. And with a quick measurement I did get 566 kilometers. Quite exact with the one I did get when I used the same chart as he. So Google Earth corresponds with the chart you're using. I wonder why.
As you will now see in reality how the road is winding with a lot of up and down.
I did find this place on Google Maps. The name is Martinon Bypass. Let's compare so you can see that I'm on the correct place.
We are at kilometers 93 on the highway A7. You see how it turns, and compare with the map on the left. You see that is not at all a straight line, the 7. And remember that it is this map that we measure the distance with the pizza cutter on the court.
Why doesn't he zoom in on the map? Because if you look here, this is 90 kilometers on the map. If you look at a closer look on the area where this is filmed, I marked the camera's position on the map with a red circle, and as you see in front of it, it's a curve, as you see in reality in the image above.
And compare with the GPS, as the curve is less sinuous on the GPS than in reality.
Let's have a look at that location also on Google Maps. And as you see on the map below, it's a curve on the map and a curve on the image.
We are at kilometers 80, bend to the right. You see that it does not look at all like the bends indicated on the map. You see how it turns tight on the right, and on the GPS the curve is flatter.
Have you noticed that the curve seems to be more sharp in his images? Have you any idea why? Let's compare. Google Street View uses a wide-angle lens, not a fisheye lens, but a wide-angle lens. But this footage that he presents is clearly with a telephoto lens. A telephoto lens compresses things. Things seems to be much closer than they are in reality. This is a simple example. This is to the left you have a 50mm lens, and on the right a 200mm lens. This is compared with 35mm film cameras or full frame cameras. So, as you see, the mountain seems to be much closer to the tower on the picture to the right. So his video is compressed, so the curve seems to be more sharp than they are in reality. So the GPS shows a straight road when you are in a curve. Let's compare this one with reality. On the left side you see the GPS and on the right side the image from Google Maps. And there you see it, I mark the position of the car on the Google map with a red circle. So he pointed down the camera to the GPS in the end of the curve. This video is over 1 hour long. I will speed this up so you can see he's showing the same nonsense in the whole video. I will play it 2000 times the normal speed and then I will stop in the end of the video and hear what he have to say.
In conclusion, we have seen in this capsule how the distance of the northern part of the flat Earth have been artificially enlarged to form an hemisphere with the help of pseudo-magnetic declination. For the southern part, the circumference of the flat Earth has been modified thanks to the subterfuge of the distances and the pseudo-magnetic declination into an ellipse. This ellipse under the 50s of southern latitude is certainly greater than the circumference of the sphere under the same latitude, but in my opinion not more than 25%. But let's keep in mind that the distance of 1 minute of latitude is certainly less than half that officially, so obviously if the radius of the cycle is smaller, the circumference will also be smaller, and even more with an ellipse. The same reasoning must be applied to the equator, also smaller. So here we have the circumference of the flat Earth if we take the dimension of the globe. That is to say, if we take the globe and we deploy the 180 degrees of latitude on a flat surface, it will give a huge circle. If we take the unit of measurement as it is in reality, the minute of latitude is probably less than half that officially. Well, that will give us a much smaller flat Earth circumference. Then if we take the 50 south latitude, which is small on the globe, and the manipulators have reduced it by making us make an ellipse rather than a cycle thanks to the magnetic declination, and this shortens the distance around the Earth in the 50s of southern latitude to look like the globe. The purpose of the subterfuge is to create a very special unit of measurement, the minute of latitude, that only planes and ships use around the fake globe. This unit of measurement, made on the basis of the latitude, is the same false scale that we saw on the road maps. Then you just have to cheat with the speed of the plane and the boat, and you can then move with them on a support which has nothing to do with reality. That's all for this capsule. I hope you like it. The next capsule will deal with the relative speed of boats and planes. Thank you for watching.
This man must be a genius. People are navigating on land, at sea, in the air, and no one else had noticed this, that the distances on the northern hemisphere is much closer than what you see on maps, charts and so on. No one else than him had noticed this. I have made videos where I have debunked his nonsense about magnetic declination and about time zones. And in the end, fake speeds on airplanes and ships. Oh dear. I'm looking forward to that video. And in this video I have shown that he is nothing but a con man. Before I made this video, I made a comment to Taboo Conspiracy that I already had found problems with this video and asked if he checked his sources before he published anything. But of course he didn't reply, and if he did check these facts, so-called facts in this video, he deliberately published this lying crap. Or he didn't bother. Or he's too stupid to understand all the problems with this video. Yesterday drone number 43 arrived, so I have sent it to Ukraine, and I'm very close to be able to order number 44 because I sold several knives during my time away from home. So hopefully before I leave again this Friday night I will be able to order one more drone. Thank you very much all helping me, helping Ukraine. If you want to help, please use PayPal, or why not order a knife. That was all I had for you today. Tomorrow I'm planning to have a live broadcast at 11 UTC. Hope you'll see you then. Otherwise, see you when I release the next video. Have a nice day. Bye.